Hey everybody, I'm in the middle of chopping mushrooms, but see all these tomatoes? I went to a fresh market and got all these tomatoes, and I'm going to show you what to do with a bunch of tomatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some stuffed tomatoes, I'm going to make some stuffed zucchini, and I'm going to make fried green tomatoes. These were green, but they're still hard, so I'm going to make them the same way as fried green tomatoes, so it should still be good. The rest of these I'm going to stuff, and the red peppers I'm going to use to stuff my zucchini. But right now, when you slice your onions, you want to slice them as thin as you can, because you're going to fry them either in butter or olive oil, but I'm going to use olive oil today. But you want to slice them as thin as you can. I'm using mushrooms. I've got a little bit of garlic over here, and I'm still in the middle of chopping up the mushrooms. And then I'm going to be frying these onions. And we'll be back in a minute.
Good. Oh wait.
Okay, I'm frying these onions. It looks like a lot of onions, but it's going to shrink in size after it's done. And what I'm doing is I'm caramelizing these onions, and I will cook them until they're almost brown. So it'll be a few minutes. Then after I do that, I'm going to add the mushrooms and the rest of the ingredients, and I'll show you when I get to that point. Okay, these onions are the way that I wanted. They're soft and pliable, and you see there's a little brown going on here, a little caramelization. So I'm going to put some garlic in there. And just stir that in there and cook it for about a minute. And I'm going to get my mushrooms. Be right back. Okay, got the mushrooms in there. Let that cook for a few minutes. Okay. I cooked the mushrooms until they were brown, and then you can see I've got meat in here now. It is ground turkey, but you can use ground chicken. You can use regular sausage if you want. It's just as good, but I'm trying to make a healthy, conscious meal. So I'm going to cook this till the meat's done, and I'm getting ready to cut up some parsley, and I'm going to put tarragon and thyme in there. And over here on this frying pan, I've got the stuffing getting ready for the fried zucchini. The zucchini's right here. What I did, I put it in a pot of boiling water for 5 minutes so the insides will be soft. So I'm getting ready to cut the tomatoes. And we'll be right back. Okay, over here is the stuffing for the stuffed tomatoes. I'm just waiting for the meat to cook all the way through. The onions are just like I want them. I put thyme. I put fresh thyme, fresh parsley, and I don't have any tarragon, which is the key ingredient here. I thought I had it, made a mistake, but I put some other stuff in there, and I put some marjoram, which is my favorite spice anyway. And over here in this skillet, what we got going here is the stuffing for the stuffed zucchini. And while this is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cut the zucchini. So over here. Go ahead and try that. Okay, you can get your zucchini. This is already cooked because I boiled it for 5 minutes. So the insides should be soft. So you want to cut them in half. Oops, I screwed up on that one. Okay, but it'll work. Be more careful with this one. And cut it in half lengthwise. Okay, let me get a spoon. And I'm just going to scoop the insides out. Start over here. Avoid the dot.
Okay. Oh, there's a lot of stuff right there. I mean,
all the stuff I'm using. Yeah?
wait. Oh, it's white.
Okay, let's stuff the zucchini. This is the insides of the zucchini that I've mashed. Okay, we're going to add a little, this is 2 eggs beaten. Add the eggs to that. Add a little fresh thyme. And a little parsley I have in there. So I'll mix that up together. Put some oregano. Little red pepper flakes. Give it a little kick. And I need Parmesan cheese. Which I should have had ready, but I didn't. Well, actually, the cheese was going to come last. Okay. So I'm just going to mix all this together while we still got the stuffing for the stuffed tomatoes cooking. Okay, so I'll put this stuff in there. That'll give it volume. Doesn't that that tomato mixture smell good? You're going to love this. Have you ever had this before? You're going to love it. Everybody loves it. Okay, stop. I'm going to stuff the zucchini with. This is going to be so yummy. Boy, it looks good, doesn't it? We didn't do a real good job in cutting the zucchini, but that's okay. So let's just fill the zucchini bolts. I'm going to put the zucchini in the oven now because they take longer to cook than the stuffed tomatoes. This one is actually perfect. It's more of a bulk. Stir it up a little bit more. Let me just try to distribute this evenly. Okay. I'm going to put a little cheese on top of it. I'm using Parmesan. It might remind you of eggplant Parmesan, but instead using zucchini. Okay, let's put that in the oven. This is going to cook about half an hour. Tell you what you need to do. We've got the stuffing for the stuffed tomatoes cooking and how you prepare the tomato. Just cut the top off like that and throw that part away. You get your spoon. Try not to get to the ends too much. You just start cutting out the inside. Don't throw it away. I always save it. You can use the tomato pieces for salad. But what I do, I cut it up and I use it for spaghetti sauce. Or pasta sauce. And then you can have the juices. You're going to be careful not to cut too close to the edge or you get a hole in there. You want to get all that juice out of there though. Be careful of the bottom too, making it too thin. Look where the juice is and you can scrape away at it. I can still take more out. Okay, let's pour that out. And that's perfect for a stuffed tomato. And I'll just cut up the rest when I go check the meat, and then I'll show you how to stuff it. Now the meat was pretty much done, so I poured a little bit of chicken broth in there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it up and let it boil down a little bit. You can also use white wine, white cooking wine. It all puts a really good flavor into it. I'll wait till it starts boiling. Okay, I'll let the chicken broth die down, and remember, you can use wine if you want, because wine is really good in cooking, and I'll make that with other recipes. So I'm going to pour this in a bowl. You can add pepper to it if you want, but don't put salt because the chicken broth puts enough salt in there, plus the sausage too. I wish you could smell this. It's like totally awesome. I also use this as a base for bread stuffing. You make this in your stuffing, and your family is gonna love you. They're gonna have you make the stuffing every year if you don't already. The rest of it. Oh, that's good enough. Okay, so let me take it over here. Got my eggs here. I want to slightly beat them. You want to get those eggs in there while the meat's still hot. I'll just mix it up real good. I also like to add a little bit of red pepper flakes to give it a little, oops. Yeah, don't open your red pepper flakes like that or you'll be sorry. And this will give it a little kick. Okay, the reason I made this little boat here is because I've already got the zucchini cooking in there, and I'm going to lift this up and put it in the pan, and hopefully it doesn't collapse. Put some olive oil, or I'm using cooking spray, on the bottom, and put your tomatoes in there. Let's check our stuffing here. See, it's cooking the eggs. And let's stuff the tomatoes. I'm just going to fill your tomatoes with the stuffing. I wish those of you watching this can taste this, but you really ought to try and make it at home, and you're just going to love it. It's a good way to get your kids to eat tomatoes too. When it's done, what I usually do, I put it on a bed of lettuce, but you don't have to. Okay, you can start. Okay, so I've got my tomato stuff.
I'm getting ready to try the finished product of the zucchini, the stuffed zucchini and stuffed tomatoes. It looks good. Mmm. That's delicious. It's hot.
Don't burn yourself.
Mmm. Mmm. So good. Try the recipe.